Oh my God, the post-holiday weigh-in has actually happened. If you're interested to see what huge amount of damage I've done, stay tuned. Woke up this morning and it's been my weigh day. I am starting the morning with new U-Plan chocolate shake, just because I can't be asked to do anything else, a cup of tea, and I need to be at an appointment for 9:30. Week 58 was my last weigh-in, and that was on the 11th of April 2024, and I weighed in at 15.12 after losing £4. So the lightest I've ever weighed is 15.12. Week 64, tears at work. I'm working today, and can you believe it is week 64? 64 weeks of trying. Now, I say 64 weeks of trying, however, I have just had a look in my diary, and as it happens, and I knew this really anyway, but I've had 5 freaking weeks off of plan, and I mean 5 weeks off of plan. I have eaten everything you could possibly imagine. I have proper been a greedy little bitch. I'm not gonna lie, it has been horrendous. So I got weighed, and I weighed in at 15 stone 13. I got into the 15s. Was super proud of myself, but ultimately it was my 40th birthday, and I'm not gonna lie, from that Thursday the celebrations began, and of course that involved going out for food, eating whatever I wanted, socialising. I've had a wedding in that time. I've been on holiday for a girly holiday in that time for a week to Magaluf. I have had an absolute ball. I got weighed, like I said, that week, and I have not been on any plan. I've not done anything. I have literally eaten like the very hungry caterpillar. If you can think of it, I've probably eaten it. However, I've come home and felt like crap because my hormones are all over, and I just felt really down. I was poorly the week that I got back from holiday, and I just didn't feel like dieting, and that is where I've been. So I've put off getting weighed. I was actually in two minds as to whether I'd get on the weighing scales. I was gonna leave it a few weeks because I just thought my little head could not take it. I've got other stuff going on as well. I am under the doctor at the moment with blood tests. That is a little bit of a worry, getting back into work, stuff with my daughter. She's like left college. I've just had a little bit of stress and a little bit of things on, as well as a wedding and social events and things like that. It's just been a bit much, so I thought it would be best just to leave it, to allow myself to get back into it. I'm also umming and ahhing as to whether or not to go back to Slimming World to pay just to get weighed, because at the minute the new U-Plan's suiting me because I can abscond away from food. Any decision regarding food is out of my hands. There's no temptation in that because I'm kind of a person that goes big or go home. So I either, like this, if I'm on Slimming World, I generally don't really eat many sins. I'm generally someone that'll just have like a muller like yogurt, and not a lot else really. I don't really do crisps and chocolate and stuff when I'm on plan. I tend to just go for fruit and yogurts and stuff that's really low. I mean, I'm not saying I don't ever have any treats, because I do, but I tend to not be that bothered. It is like an all or nothing for me. So the new U-Plan, because all meals, the thought of eating anything is completely taken away from you. It's all just in packets. It's already packed up. It's already calorie counted. It's already like organised for you. You literally pick a packet up and put it in your mouth. And although the meals are like, actually they're quite nice, the meals, I don't mind them. The bars I love. The spag bowl I am absolutely in love with. I could eat that every meal, like literally breakfast, dinner and tea, I'm not gonna lie. I do vary it up because otherwise I think I'll get bored and go off it, and I don't want to go off it because I really enjoy it. But the spag bowl that they do, it's a small portion, but I think I'm feeling quite satisfied. It is day 4 today of the New You plan. I didn't record day 2, day 1 I did. I'm not going to lie, the start of the plan was quite difficult. It's difficult to get your head out of the remit of eating like regular food. I think when I've got sugar in my bloodstream, I tend to crave more sugar and carbs. Since I've dieted over the last year, I've gone away from being an absolute chocolate monster that would devour any chocolate ever to probably more savoury and carby. Like, I love breads and cheese and things like that. So day 4 today. The previous days 1 and 2 quite difficult, I'm not gonna lie. Day 3 got a bit easier, although I did feel quite low in mood yesterday. I don't know whether that's a hormonal thing. I'm really tired and really drained, but I went in the bath, I had a cup of tea. I did actually last night eat, and I felt like some comfort food. So rather than just having 4 products and a snack, I ended up having 4 products and 2 snacks. I had an extra packet of crisps. Now, I know people, that isn't the plan, that's not how you're supposed to do it, but ultimately, in this first, like, do you know what, every now and again, if that's what I feel like doing, I'm quite okay with it. And every plan you do to work yourself, no, I won't lose as much weight, you're right, it will have an effect on the scales, but mentally, if that keeps me on that plan over long term, I feel like that is the best solution, not gonna lie. So it's week 64. I'm quite like scared this morning. I went to bed last night. I had a lovely night with Oliver. He gave me a massage, and I have been bitching at him about how romantic he is and the way that he is with me. And he gave me a back massage and like a leg and a bum massage last night. Yeah, complete overshare, but were actually really nice. I really enjoyed it, and it was nice that it was more the underpinning like thought where that's concerned, that he's actually listened to me and he's putting that effort in, and I think that's quite sweet. I really enjoyed it. I do love him so much, it's crazy, but then hate him so much at the same time. It's just so weird. He makes me so defensive, and I am quite demanding, I do get that, but I don't know, this relationship is, I don't know what it is, and I'm trying to work that out. But last night was really nice. It's day 4 today, isn't it? I've woke up this morning, I've had a chocolate shake, I've had 2 cups of tea with milk. I've brought a new water bottle because I broke my last one from Primark, these little stumpy ones, and they hold, is it 1,200 mils, so that's nearly, is that like 1.5 litres? I'm not really sure, but anyway, it's 1,000, well, it's over 1,300 mils because I fill it right up to the top. I'm on the way this morning to the doctor's for my blood test results. Not sure if anybody's watched my previous ones, but I do this for myself anyway, for reflection. I was in 2 minds as to whether I was going to actually record this and include it in my vlogs and my journey. But ultimately, this is my journey and this is part of it. And it has, I'm not going to lie, annoyingly, because I thought, like, I want my brain to be stronger than this. These kinds of things don't make me turn to food and absolutely throw my life off plan. But I am human and we aren't perfect. So this morning I'm at the doctor's for my blood test results. I'm being tested because I think my hormones are all over the place. I'm not sure whether I'm going into early menopause. I'm going to be honest, I've not actually asked what the blood test is for. I know it's like for hormones, I do know that, but I do think they've done a full blood count as well that'll just generally overall look at my blood composition and the hormones and the levels of everything. It's a little bit scary because I'm trying to park. I have to like concentrate on this, I'm not gonna lie. Oh, that was the worst parking in the world. I'm just gonna reverse and straighten that up because that was freaking horrendous. Like, I'm teaching my daughter how to drive and that kind of parking was ridiculous. Anyway, so I'm not 100% sure what these blood tests are for. I don't know what they're going to fully involve. I don't really know how this conversation is going to go today, but it is something that I've been dreading. I'm glad that I'm getting it out of the way today, that I'm going to find out what's what. There's no point in hiding away from stuff, is there, and just ignoring things because they don't go away. You just have to deal with them. I've had the implant out my arm, and let's just see whether either I'm old and I'm going through the change, or whether there's something else underlying and I maybe need to go for further tests. I'm not really sure. I have used that as a bit of an excuse to not diet, not gonna lie. That with my birthday and other stuff, there's just been like, I feel like I've had weight at will on my shoulders a little bit. But this morning I've woke up and I'm coming to the doctor's. Oliver asked to see if he wanted me to come with him. Nobody else really knows that I'm doing this. Jesus, every time I record a video, somebody rings me. Anyway, I'm going to really try and stop rambling. I woke up this morning and just thought, I don't want Oliver to come with me. I don't think it's appropriate. I think I have to get my head into stuff myself. So then I just thought, well, if you're brave enough to really just get up and face that and just get on with it and deal with whatever's going off with you, like medically, then you should really be brave enough to get on the fucking scales and stop avoiding them and stop acting like that is actually going to make any difference. Whether I get on the scales or not, ultimately, I have, whatever the reading is what I weigh. It doesn't matter if I get on there or not. And if anything, really, it's better to, like, I am a bit of a ballsy individual that just faces stuff. So it's just better that I face stuff, or that's what I figure. So week 64, and I've woke up this morning, I've got stress on my plate because I'm going in for this meeting and I've not got a clue what is going to be said to me about these blood tests. And then lo and behold, before I even come for this, at 9:30 in the morning, and I've got a full day at work, so I ain't even got time to really sit and be sad about it or think about it, I just got on the freaking scales after having 5 weeks off. Yes, that's right. 5 weeks off. Do you know when I say 5 weeks off, I mean 5 weeks off. Like, I am not a bull crapper. I didn't half-arse this shit. If I am off plan, I've eaten everything in the world. Every meal has been off plan. I've been a greedy motherfucker. And I'm not going to lie about it. I'm not going to pretend. That's probably why I'm fat and overweight. Well, no, that is why I'm fat and overweight. But it is what it is. So I've got on them scales. I have really got to run. I've spoke, obviously, on this vlog absolutely tons, but I really have got to get into the doctors to go and face the music. Probably not face the music and dance, but I am going to face the music. And ultimately, actually, I'm going to say this, I'm quite proud of myself. Got up this morning, faced my weight, and now I'm going to face whatever these blood test results say. So, good on me. Good on me. Now, that sounds really arrogant, but it's really not. It is me saying, do you know what? I'm proud of you. You're a strong individual. You have got a lot of shit on your plate and you're still soldiering on. I'm still getting back on plan. I'm doing one of the hardest diets that you could possibly imagine. And I've just ate for 5 weeks and I hate it when I put weight on. I'm now in a new stern bracket. I mean, that went hard because I were 15-13 my last weigh-in. But I am in a new stern bracket and I'm just facing it. I'm getting on with it. In fact, I'm finding it inspiring. It's driving me to be a good girl. Anyway, I'll catch up with you after I've been to the GPs. On a different note, I'm quite liking my outfit today. Vintage, old-fashioned cardigan. I'm out of the doctor's and that was a huge shock. I don't even know how I feel about what I've just discussed with him. I think I'm gonna go and get a coffee, and then I'm probably gonna record it so I've got somebody to talk to and like shove my thoughts and feelings together. Ooh, I don't know how I feel about this. I have come to McDonald's of all places to get myself a coffee. I've got myself a flat white because I just think I deserve it. I've been to the doctors and we've had a look at my blood test results, and although there is some that are a little bit off, it could be down to dehydration, the fact that I have been away on holiday and I was poorly after I went on holiday. Nothing is significantly out of the ordinary. The good news of that is that my hormones are okay. There's nothing abnormal with that. I'm not going through the change. Woo! There's something that shows a small sign of infection, but nothing massive. I think he said my hemoglobin was slightly up, but it always has been throughout all time. My blood could have been slightly thicker from what is seen from his results, but that could be down to the fact that I'd not drank a lot and things like that. So ultimately, looking at the positive of this is that physically there is nothing really wrong with me. That is a positive. I feel a lot happier about that. I was quite worried. I'd sent Oliver a message before I got my results saying basically if there is something wrong with me, then unfortunately we're going to have to part ways, because I just wouldn't drag somebody through that kind of crap. So ultimately that's a positive. What I am struggling with is from discussion with the GP, who was lovely, asked thousands of questions, genuinely investigated stuff, and I don't feel like he was just trying to get me out of the room and couldn't be asked, which sometimes you do get that with GPs. So this is two really that I've seen that have been absolutely fantastic with me. Through discussion and my symptoms, and I've been telling him a lot of physical symptoms. I have told him like there's sometimes I want to rip Oliver's head off, that my mood's all over the place, that I'm constantly tired. Like now I am exhausted and I've been sleeping, it's first thing in the morning. He has asked to put me on a 4-week trial of some antidepressants. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I'm quite contrary to probably what's been seen on these vlogs, and because I'm being really open and honest and sharing things that I generally wouldn't, and Oliver would probably disagree with you, but I'm actually quite a logical thinker. Now, while I'll recognize somebody else's mental unbalance, or I don't even know what the politically correct word is, so I'm going to say it, and I don't mean to be offensive. While I will acknowledge that people can suffer with depression, and I am really empathetic to that and will do anything within my power to help anybody that's suffering with that, I generally tend to push my feelings and thoughts aside. And it's probably the reason why I've gone to the GP and I'm looking for a physical issue, like I must have cancer, or I must have a thyroid problem, or I must be diabetic because I'm fat, or I must have be going through change because I'm a hormonal. Him saying to me that maybe, he's quite sure that I'm suffering with anxiety and depression. Although I'm aware of that in some respects of myself, I put it down to what everybody suffers with anxiety and depression. So I always downplay my own feelings regarding that. It's just the offer of putting me on a prescriptive drug, to help with that, makes me feel even, I'm not really sure. I'm quite I don't know if it's a taboo, or I don't really like taking medications, and ultimately they only in my opinion can only short-term resolve it for you. I don't really want to be on long-term medication. So I've and ahhed as to whether to take it and whether he prescribed it. And then in the end, after talking to him, I was like, well, if it helps me short term, then prescribe it me and I will take it. Long term, it's not. I obviously have got issues to deal with that are current in my life that I need to deal with, because I am having physical effects from obviously feeling the way I do, and the lack of like actually acknowledging it and blaming myself for everything and seeing it almost as like a weakness that I've got to overcome is not really doing me any favors. So the results from my GP visit are that I maybe am suffering with anxiety, stress and depression, and it could be just a chemical imbalance inside of me. It could be external factors. There's not like a thing to resolve this that I can be like, right, this is what I'm going to do. I'll stop eating this, or I'll eat more of this, or I'll do this, because that's generally where I go. From sat with my coffee and thinking about it, there are things that I need to address that maybe will help me feel a bit better and pick up my mood. The fact of the matter is I can't carry on feeling this tired and drained all the time. My moods need stabilising. Hence, I have actually taken the prescription and I'm going to take it, because maybe, well, I just don't think it's fair on everybody else if my moods are all over like they are. Thinking about it, there's obviously things there that I am feeling. I'm not saying I'm not recognising them, but I do have a tendency to be a bit of a like, suck it up and get on with it, such as like socialising and going out. If I don't feel like going out, it's a drive for me to force myself that I suck it up and go out regardless of how that makes me feel. And like, we went to a wedding the other weekend and I was feeling quite anxious and quite stressed about it, and I forced myself to go out to the pub after, and I'm proud of myself and I'm glad that I do that. And ultimately I'm not going to stop doing that, because I think it's what I need to do, because if I just stay and hermit away, it's only going to make me feel worse. But I maybe need to recognise it as something that I need to deal with. In reflection, there's a lot of aspects of my relationship that I need to address. There is things at home that I need to address, but there's also historical things that I need to address and current things that I need to address. And I do think that that is something that I need to do. I do think I've had a year of working on myself and being quite, I have a tendency to be overcritical of myself anyway, and I blame myself for everything. So I don't know. An example being like, I know that it stresses me out that I don't feel like Oliver fancies me and that I'm not good enough, and that then plays in my mind, and I will hold on to that and be like, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough. And then that affects obviously your self-esteem. In a positive, it is a drive to improve my appearance and the way that I am as a person. But on the opposite, I am not just accepting myself for the person that I am. And I think that has been a massive issue. I am quite self-critical. I don't take compliments very well, and I think that's like a show of obviously how I feel about myself. And there's just a few things that I need to work on. I do ultimately think that this diet plan and losing weight is helping. I do feel better about my appearance. It doesn't help that I've just had 5 weeks off the diet plan, but I do think that it is good for me to possibly like address the weight, because I do put a lot of things down to like how I feel about myself, and it does depress you a lot being bigger, and I'm still quite heavy. I'm a lot lighter than what I were, but I am still quite heavy, and I think addressing that, hopefully one day that will boost me and make me feel better, and it not be something that I put myself down about. And ultimately it should stop me feeling so anxious and increase my confidence, my self-esteem, and I do think that's a positive. I have let exercise lapse a lot, and I think that's something that I maybe need to work on, along with other things. There's a lot of like exposure therapy and like reflective therapy. I can't remember what it's called, but things that I need to deal with in terms of relationships around me that make me feel rubbish, and also like myself. And like I do think I've had it like historical trauma, and I do think that it'd be more healthy for me to deal with that rather than putting everything else first. I do think that will help me. So sorry that that's a ramble on. I've literally not really thought about this much myself. Recording it's not been the easiest thing for me to do, but I do think it is an important thing for me to do, and I will watch this back and it will make me acknowledge more and work on them things that are upsetting me. I'm sure this isn't the last I will talk about this, what's going off, and I don't know, watch this space if you're interested. If not, I apologise because it's probably boring, but it's an important aspect for me. So anyway, without further ado, let's face the music and dance, because I've faced the GP and the blood test. So let's be raw and honest and let's face the scales. So it is week 64. I have not been weighed in 5 weeks. At my lightest, I weighed 15 stone 13, which I was over the moon to have got out of the 16s and into the 15s. Short-lived as it may have been, I have eaten for 5 weeks straight. So just to run you through that, I've been on a girly holiday for a week and ate nothing. Every day, fried breakfast, loads of alcohol, loads of like desserts and pastas, and I didn't actually exercise that much. I walked a bit, but not a great deal. I danced away a bit, but I didn't think, like, not enough to undo the crap that I was eating. The week before I went away, I carried on celebrating my 40th birthday, and I just wasn't in the mood to diet, I'm not gonna lie. It seemed a bit pointless considering I knew I was gonna go away. So I ate whatever I wanted. I've had takeaways, I've had pizzas, I've had chips, I've had pizzas in the house, I've had burgers, I've had chocolate, I've had crisps, I've had alcohol, you name it. I've eaten McDonald's, the lot. I've done the opposite of dieting for 5 weeks. It's almost like somebody's opened the fence to the pen and I have bolted. Do I regret it? On the scales, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, yeah, a little bit. I wish I'd not put weight on, but who doesn't when they're on a weight loss journey? Like, who actually doesn't? Do I wish I could eat what I want and be like 10 stone? Yeah, I do. Is that real? No, it's never gonna happen, is it? So ultimately, I need to get my head around that fact that that's not gonna be a thing. So I have been on the scales after 5 weeks, and ultimately the celebrations are over and I have gained, lo and behold, so week 64, and I am weighing in at 16 stone 13 and a half. So that means I have put on 15 pound and a half over the 5 weeks that I've had off. Is that a lot? Fuck yeah, he's fucking shitloads. I'm glad I'm not in the 17s, can I just say? Like, that would have been another blow. Have I been lucky? Yeah, probably not getting into the 17s. And considering previously I've put a stone on in 1 week, I think that's not bad, really. I don't think. I mean, it's bad, isn't it? Let's be honest. Putting on 15.5 pounds is bad, especially when you're on a weight loss journey. But is it life? Yeah, it is. Is it going to happen again? Most definitely probably will. Is it going to stop me? No, it won't. Am I glad I've got weighed? Kind of. I kind of am. I think facing it has definitely given me a bit of a kick up the arse, and it's made me think, shit, I need to sort it out. Now, I have got weighed on my scales, not Slimming World scales, which generally weigh about 2 or 3 pounds heavier than what theirs do. Sometimes not, actually, but sometimes they do. Sometimes I've got weighed in the morning, then I go and get weighed on a Thursday morning on their scales. Sorry, my nails have just got like a sharp bit and it's really annoying me. Sometimes I get weighed on their scales and I am like £2 lighter, £3 sometimes. Am I going to hold on to that? Probably not, because when you put that amount on, I don't think £3 makes that much difference at all. With how heavy I am, I think that's just something I need to just take on the chin. I was naked. It was first thing in the morning. I had a cup of tea, but that's it. I think I'm going to bypass, well, I say this all the time, I might not bypass Slimming World, but I am bypassing it this week. I'm not sure it's for me right now going to group. I feel quite focused myself. If I can feel myself slipping, I will go back to group. And ultimately, when, like, probably in about 3 or 4 weeks, when I've done on the new U plan, I will probably go back to Slimming World, because it is my comfort zone and it's what I find easy, slow and steady. Don't get me wrong, I'm not in this for like fast wins, nor am I going to have them. I could have lost more over my weight loss journey, but I don't know, I think it's probably healthier for me to do these things. Do you know, where I put weight on and I pull it back down and I get back on track and I keep just edging away at it, because I got holidays planned and I'm going to put weight on with hers. I'm telling you now, there is not one holiday that I will ever go on where I will diet. Like, I won't even try, and I don't want to. Birthdays, nights out and stuff like that, I'm not missing them. I'm going out and I'm going to do it. But ultimately, I'm quite proud of myself that I've got back on track and I'm going to pull it back round. This, like, getting back on track has been the worst one yet, where it's took me a longer amount of times to say, right, enough is enough, draw a line under it. But truly, I'm getting back on track. So week 4 for me, on the new day 4 for me on the new U plan, I'm going to slay it. I've just had a chocolate milkshake this morning. Don't get me wrong, this is maybe not slaying it. I think I deserve it today. I have got a full day at work, so I'll probably not eat that many products through the day, and I'll probably save them for the evening. It's going to be a boring day, so I'm not going to like mess about like recording it, because it's just boring. But I have uploaded my week 64 weigh-in, which is better than what I were doing. Good on me. So wish me luck for getting through this first week. I ultimately now have got 15.5 pounds worth of debt to pay back in weight. This is just how I always work. If I put weight on, I always take my lightest weight and try and aim for that, which I'm quite glad it's 15-13, because the minute I'm into the 15s, I'll feel like I paid that weight back. And it's a nice goal to get into the 15s, and it'll be like, oh, I've paid my weight back and I'm back into the 15s. Woo, go me. My next holiday is in July. I go away to Turkey. So I'm hoping that, I don't know how many weeks that is, but I hope that by then I have maybe got lighter than my lightest weight. But if not, it is what it is. I'm aiming for that, and that is week 64 done. So it has been quite traumatic, quite emotional, and not quite what I expected. I mean, at all. However, wish me luck for the week ahead. I shall be back with the next week's weigh-in. I'm going to if nothing else, I'll just weigh at home. Good luck if you're on a weight loss journey, even if it's not Slimming World or New You plan, who cares? We're all trying to rock this together. And think thin.